Happening now, businesses and events in Upper Michigan face economic impacts from a lack of snow this winter, but a warm winter also affects soil and agriculture.
TV6's Ben Kuchner-Kavich joins us to break down how this could be something we all have to adjust to. Ben?
Yeah, Grace and Cody, I talked to researchers from the UP and beyond about the trends in our winters. These researchers keep track of things like snowpack, ice cover, and soil trends. And they tell me they've seen big changes in recent years. We've all noticed the warmth and lack of snow this winter. Maybe you've enjoyed not having to layer up as much, or maybe you're disappointed to miss out on skiing and snowmobiling. Whether you enjoy the unusual winter or not, researchers are looking into why this is happening. Just below the Mackinac Bridge, the University of Michigan has a biological station in Pellston. Researchers have records of snow depth here since 1974. Station Director Ame Klassen says she's seen a trend toward less snow, more rain, and more freezing and thawing in winter. She says this can have a big impact on soil.
As those snowpacks change, if you get no snow or less snow, those soils can freeze and the organisms that are in them don't do anything. Or you could think about how rain comes into an ecosystem, and if those organisms are being really active, that rain can move those nutrients and sediments out of those ecosystems and into streams.
From streams to the big lake, you also might have noticed the lack of ice on Lake Superior. At Michigan Tech University, scientists at the Great Lakes Research Center collect water samples in the Keweenaw Waterway. Most sampling in the Great Lakes region takes place between May and October, so tech researchers help fill in gaps in winter to help understand conditions where we live. Trista Vick Majors is the lead investigator for a Michigan Sea Grant-funded project to look at changing winters. Well, there was ice to sift through on this late February day. If you've taken a trip to the water, you know that hasn't been the case all winter. Vic Majors says ice cover is highly variable, but has recently trended lower in the Great Lakes, both in terms of how much the lakes are covered and how long ice lasts.
Having less ice cover changes things that are really fundamental to the ecosystem, like how much light enters the lakes, and how much nutrient availability there might be in the spring. What water temperatures look like in the spring, so we might have warmer water temperatures because we have less ice.
Vic Majors says there's record low ice cover this year, around 25 to 30% below normal, meaning less opportunities for you to do things like ice fish. At the MSU Upper Peninsula Research and Extension Center in Chatham, researchers collect data for the National Weather Service. The center's director, James DeDecker, says this season's snowfall is the lowest total the weather station ever observed, about 100 inches below the 25-year average. He says long-term trends he sees could impact agriculture. On average, DeDecker says the frost-free growing season is trending 10 days to 2 weeks longer, which has its pros and cons.
It may expand the types of crops that we can produce, or allow us to produce longer maturing varieties or achieve higher yields, and that's all a benefit. But on the flip side of that is the fact that we're seeing greater variability in our temperature and in our precipitation in particular.
DeDecker says a longer, warmer growing season is good, but it's hard to deal with if there's rapid warm-ups or cool-downs, extreme dry spells, or extreme precipitation events. MSU Extension Operations Supervisor Paul Naz says this winter's mild weather is good for livestock. When it's cold, cattle need more energy to maintain body temperature. When it's warmer, they don't need to eat as much feed.
Temperature drives growth on our summer crops, so I think it would be beneficial for the Upper Peninsula as the temperature rises to a degree.
All the researchers I talked to tell me they think the combination of El Nino and climate change have led to our unprecedented winter in the UP. As El Nino starts to weaken, we'll see if next winter feels more like what we're used to. Grace?